So today, yes, we are excited. We've got Lisa, who's now, I would say, I call her our superstar in our company because she's been losing so much weight. It's just incredible. And so we're happy to have her on the line here. What I like to do first is probably just make sure that Lisa comes in. She tells her story of what she's been through, the struggles she's had, and then after that we can talk a little bit about why this program works so well and what you can do from this point forward. So Lisa, are you with us?
I am. Thank you, Stefan.
All right. Well, Lisa, I mean, I'd love to hear about your particular situation because we know you are a paraplegic. Can you talk about this situation? What happened to you? And then after that, the start of your gain weight and, you know, your journey through this. We'd love to hear just from the beginning. We'd love to hear from you and what you have to share here. Would you do us this favor?
I would be honored to. I really appreciate all the wonderful things that you and Arlene had to say about me, and I'm so excited and so passionate about what this company is about and what our products are about that I'm more than excited to tell people about my story. My story actually kind of happened before my accident because my whole life I've fought weight loss, some due to my horrible choices of food, like the rest of us. We're fast food addicts, and, you know, we want that pleasure of food, but also my DNA. I have very large people in my dad's side of the family. Everybody was over 300 pounds. Just had to fight it in all different directions my whole life. So I played that up and down yo-yo game. You know, I'd get a really good weight to go on a vacation or to do something. I'd keep it for a little bit of time, and then I would gain it all back. Plus, 19 years ago, we just celebrated, which some people think that's a strange word, but my accident date was March 19th, so 9 years ago, March 19th. My family and I, we were up in the sand dunes in California, and we were ATVing. ATVing was our family's, one of our choices of going out and doing great things together. We've been doing it for about 4 years on a continual, probably twice-a-month basis. So we were all very good on our ATVs. And we were out with brand new people with us who'd never been there, so it was a really simple ride. And we went out on this beautiful ride, and I was riding my ATV, and I had a horrible crash. Crash kind of started by a little fear getting in me, and from there kind of took my ATV out of control and had a horrible crash. And in an instant, my life had changed. Everything I knew was going to be different. I never lost consciousness. I knew immediately I was paralyzed, and it was pretty tough. We laid in the sand for 2 hours waiting for Flight for Life to get to us. So it was a pretty tough start. People and doctors said there was no way I should have lived, but God had a whole different plan for my life, so it was not time for me to go. But in that moment and in that time, in the beginning we were in the hospitals for about 4.5 months, out of state from where we lived, from where our children were. It was a rough time. And when we came back home, we had to start from scratch and relearn so many different things. And in the time, with all this going on, I was trying to keep my weight down. At the time of my accident, I weighed 200 pounds, so I was already starting on a high weight. And I kept trying to keep my weight down, and it was so difficult with all the medications I was on, and it just, with our lifestyles, and it also became a crutch where I loved my food, and it was one of those things that kind of made me feel good, so I ate way too much. I started doing things like Weight Watchers. I did Atkins, I did Jenny Craig, I did Nutrisystem. I had you name it. I have more books on my shelf and more gadgets I've ordered off the TV than you can imagine. I did the crazy diets like soups and fasting and you name it, I did it. And I never got results. You know, I might lose a little bit of weight, but it would take me 3 months to lose 20 pounds. And I would go into these diets very committed, very saying I'm going to do it this time. And I just, you know, a month into it and you're not losing very much weight, it would just take that air out of my balloon and it was like, just let me down. And I was like, no, I can do this. I'd work harder. My mom, which is an amazing lady that moved into our family's home with my husband and our kids. You know, she would make meals she was kind of like my personal cook to even try to help me do this, you know, having that person there to be my cheerleader along with me. And she would go on diets and she never needed to, just to be that person to do it with me. And I would just fail. And it's really hard on us when we do something continually and fail and you think, am I ever going to win at this? Well, in my path of losing weight, I had gained about 65 pounds. I had been in a manual wheelchair for the first 4 years, and then due to medical issues and problems, I had to go into a power chair. And when I did, my physical therapist, he said, this is going to be bad because you are going to gain a lot of weight. And I know the power words are there, but it happened. I gained about 65 pounds when I got into my power chair. You know, I just kept going up and up. And so my brother had done HCG. I watched him lose about 30 pounds in record time. And I was like, I need to do this, even though I knew how unhealthy it was, even though after he went off, he lost his 30 pounds plus some back in about 3.5 weeks. And I was like, okay, I'm better than my brother. If I did that as a jump start, then I could get back on Weight Watchers or one of these other things. And I fought with it because I knew how bad the hormones were. I knew how bad it was. And as a woman, I'm 48, and I knew I didn't want to be messing with my hormones already. You know, they were already in jeopardy, changing and going their own directions anyway. So I put on this big surprise birthday party for my mom for her 75th birthday, and I had invited Tony Hughes to the party. I think he's my third cousin, and we don't see him very often. We, only a few times in the last few years that I had really got to see him. And I invited him, and he showed up, and him and his wife, Marcia, were there, and they were telling us about what they had been doing and how healthy it was and how they were keeping off this weight. And, my eyes were just, concentrated on him and listening to every word he had to say. And, I was hearing this company, Ariix, and I was hearing about these products, Slenderiix, and all the great success stories. And he had kept his weight off for, I think, about 3.5, 4 months at that point. And I was like, Tony, I'm interested. You got me. Tell me more. How soon can I start? How much is it going to cost? And he explained the whole thing to me. So we got me the Slenderiix drops right away. Within that week, he had them shipped to me, and I got them, and I decided I was going to commit myself to this. Like I had everything else. I read the directions. I knew what to eat and not to eat, and I was going to follow it. One of the interesting things is being a paraplegic, I don't have options of exercise like a lot of people do. I can't run or I can't walk on treadmills, which that was always my exercise of choice in the past. And so I knew exercise was really not going to be playing a role in it, so I knew I had to follow the product. And I had heard the stories about different people using Slenderiix and not exercising when the very first people were out there starting it to do the testing on it. Well, so I jumped into it, and I started taking it. My load days, I was very serious about my load days, and I knew I was going to be doing this for a while. So, I loaded up on my pizzas and my fast food and, putting in that bad stuff right before starting, and which I don't recommend that. I recommend eating your normal way, just don't going a little out of control like I did. But then I started, and it was amazing. On just a few days into it, I already was having no desire to have the other foods. I was already not craving foods, and my family was still having their stuff. Nobody went on this diet with me. I had cookies and candy and chips in my house around me all the time. And I didn't have the desire to reach over and grab it anymore. And so I was like, wow, I really like how that initial feeling's going, because I always wanted what everybody else wanted. And as my months went on, I don't weigh at home because I can't, no way to get on my scale. So I had decided I would either weigh once or twice a month, and because I have to go downtown to a hospital that has a special scale for my wheelchair and I decided I didn't want to waste the gas, that I'd wait till the end of the month to see my results. And I knew I was having results because of how my body was already feeling, and on the inside, and my digestion and everything, I was already feeling better. Well, it was 1 month. It was June 29th, so I went down to the hospital, and I got on the scale, and I had got off the scale, and I got back on the scale, and I just kept looking at it, and I'm like, Mom, are those numbers right? And so, I have to get out of my wheelchair to weigh my wheelchair to make sure, I know how much weight to subtract, because when you get on a scale and it's up in the 500s, you really don't like those numbers. And so when I take my wheelchair weight off, it brings my numbers down to less horrific numbers. And I was so excited. I had lost 20 pounds. My mom was like, you've lost 20 pounds. And I was, at that point, so hooked. There was just nothing that was going to take me off these products, because I had never seen a result like that before. So I continued on my journey. And the second month, I lost 16 pounds. Again, I was so excited. And I really hadn't done anything majorly drastic, but I was taking these drops. They were taking away my cravings and my desires for the junk food, for the sugars, for everything. And because when you stop putting the poisons and the trash that we put in our body continually, your body all of a sudden starts telling you thank you, and you feel so much better. And you have no desire to put that back in. So it got easier and easier as I went on. But it started out so easy. And I ate pretty simple. I ate Cheerios and almond milk for breakfast most of the mornings, or I would have eggs and low-calorie toast, or omelets with a regular egg plus egg whites and all kinds of vegetables. And you name it, I had great breakfasts. On Saturday mornings, which is like this morning, my husband works very hard and very long hours, and so he really likes to sleep in. So I decided I was going to get the Pure Nourish shake to have for my Saturday mornings, because I couldn't get out of bed and run down and have breakfast when my husband was still sleeping. So I would just bring up a mason jar with some water in it and have my shake mix and put 2 scoops in there, shake it up, and I would have a breakfast, and I would take my drops. And, then later on when my husband got out of bed, we'd get up and have a great lunch together. And when I would be out doing things, early in the morning before breakfast time, I could take my mason jar with me, and I could shake up my drinks and have my shakes instead of having what everybody else was having, the muffins or the bad foods that I didn't want to put in my body anymore. And then at lunchtimes, I would usually have leftovers from the night before. If not, I would have really simple lunches of, lunch meat and vegetables, or I'd make up salads, or even if we were out and about, I'd get salads from fast food places that I, didn't really want to get them from there, but if that's where you were at, I'd get the salads. But I'd take my own salad dressings with me, or I'd search out the salad dressings that I knew were healthier. I would have chicken, you name it, all kinds of foods. at dinner I'd do the same thing, and I would stick with the 1,250 calories. I a lot of times came down to 1,000 calories just because I was already so full by, the end of the meal. I didn't really need to end up at 1,250 calories. I actually was doing something very funny in the beginning, is because I was weighing my food, so I was looking to see what 8 ounces was of the meat. And, I got kind of out of control, and I was even weighing my salads. Well, the problem is a lot of salad, you can put in a lot of salad makings to get to what I was thinking, 2 cups, so I was thinking 16 ounces. And my salads were so big in the beginning because I was weighing them, and I'm like, what am I doing? 2 cups and 16 ounces is completely different when you're looking at the weight of a product. So in the beginning, I really ate a lot, and I realized how to, keep it in the right controls, and I didn't have to weigh all the time my food because I got it in my mind what it was, and I visualized it, and I enjoyed my food. I no longer was having this getting done with my food and then searching out more food 20 minutes later. I never had cravings. I shouldn't say never. There was one time where my mom was cutting up a pineapple, and it was so good, and it was like candy, and it was my fruit. Of all fruits, it's my favorite. And I just sat there at the counter while we were sitting there making dinner, and we ate almost the entire pineapple between the two of us. And I averaged out it was probably about 3 cups of pineapple. Well, I usually stick with 1 cup of fruit and not ones like pineapple that turn to sugar so fast. And that evening, within a couple hours after eating dinner, all of a sudden I was having a desire to have something sweet. And I was like, Mom, I'm feeling something I haven't felt in quite a while. And it was because of the sugar high I got from the pineapple. So it was a reminder of fruits are wonderful. Got to stick with the right ones and not with crazy proportions because they can turn to sugars as well. So as I was doing this and losing my weight, every month I would get on the scale, some a little bit higher, up at like 15 pounds, some around 10 pounds. I was averaging around 11 pounds a month, and I did really well. Into the month of December, it's a more difficult month for everybody I know because we are all baking, and you just have those things that you've done from your past and the things that you eat for Christmas. And I decided that I was still going to, even though my kids were 19 and 21, they would come over to the house, and we made Christmas cookies together, and we made fudge. And I still ate some of that, but I ate it in smaller portions. I didn't sit down and eat 5 or 6 Christmas cookies. I would have one, and I enjoyed it. And I would have very small portions of fudge. Or at Christmas Day, when we had our mashed potatoes and our gravy and our stuffing, I chose that I was going to go ahead and eat it, but I made a conscious choice before I sat down at the table of how much I was going to eat. And I took small portions, and I filled my plate up with the good things like the turkey and the green beans. And I watched what I was eating. And the cool thing is I used to empty my entire plate. When I was full, I quit eating. I didn't finish everything that was on my plate. And when everybody else, wanted to lay on the couch and was feeling tired and exhausted and didn't feel good because they had stuffed themselves, I was up and ready to go because my body had known when that off switch was, which in the past I never had. But it was every month I was learning new things about my body and seeing myself growing and changing mentally as well as I was changing physically, losing weight. And so as I went, I kept losing weight, and I was looking forward to a show that they were doing in January, and that was first of the year is when I really wanted to hit 100 pounds, but I didn't hit it by January 1st. But by January 22nd, I went down to the hospital. I went early because we were going to be in Vegas, and I wanted to see if I was going to make my goal before getting to Vegas. And when I got on the scales, me in my wheelchair, and I'm looking at it, and I have now lost 101 pounds. I had tears coming down my cheek. I could not believe that I'm getting teary-eyed again because it's such an emotional, amazing journey that I was going through. And the weight just had changed me, and I could get in my closets, and I started out at a 3X, and, you know, to get ready to go to Vegas, I was out buying clothes, and I didn't have to go to specialty stores or to be in the 2X and 3X sizes. I was in larges, and I was so excited to find some clothes and to not wear these huge things anymore. And I had tears at the hospital of how much my life had changed. And I got home and got out my tape measure, and I started measuring, and I'd lost 59.5 inches at that point. And, you know, I always called my before picture that I never wanted anybody to see. And, you know, it was just going to be for me and my mom who took the picture, and for even I didn't want my husband to see it, even though he saw me on a daily basis. When I look at that picture and the size that I was, and that I looked in the mirror, and let me tell you, I never wanted to look in the mirror, ever. But I was looking in the mirror, and I'm seeing a regular neck, and I'm looking at these arms that are so much smaller. And, you know, women never want to lose it from their chest, but I look at it as I got a chest reduction for really cheap. And everywhere, my stomach, I was so excited and so happy. And everywhere I would go, people would ask me, what are you doing? And they'd see my pictures, and I would tell them, this is Slenderiix. And I would tell them about the drops and tell them about how healthy I was. And everybody wanted to know. And I started helping people along this journey about my 3rd month into it, because I was seeing what it was doing for me. And I was like, Tony, not only do I want to do this product as I was continuing doing it, but I now want to get into it because, one, I wanted it at a price point where it was, you know, I could buy it and sell it, and I was actually, the product I was selling was paying for my product, and it was unbelievable. And on my journey, people wanted to know, and so I started selling the product. And, you know, now I've helped over a whole group of people lose over 300 pounds. Some of them, you know, have only lost 10, 15 pounds, which I look at as every pound we lose, we're one step getting healthier. And I've helped some people lose up into 40 and 50 pounds. And now, when I went to weigh just a few days ago, I've hit 113 pounds off and 74 inches, and that's in 10 months. And, you know, some people think 10 months is a long ways away. Let me tell you, 10 months is such a short period of time. And I look back at all the times and think, you know, in 1 year, in 10 months, where had I been? I had usually gained weight, and this product, Slenderiix, was changing my life. And it has made it so that I'm actually more independent in my wheelchair than I ever was before. I could do more things. It's making my health better where I can breathe. It's making it so some of the things I couldn't do before without all my husband's help, I can now do on my own. And let me tell you, when you're paralyzed or when you have something go on in your life where you are so dependent on other people, every ounce of your independence is worth more than I can begin to tell you. And in the very beginning, one of the big reasons I got on this is not only my own weight, but my husband was having to do so much for me that I was watching his back be in pain, moving my big body around. And now I'm watching my husband's back not hurt anymore because I could do these things on my own. I didn't need him to move me. So even today, it helps me in so many ways that I just want to get out there and tell people, it doesn't matter if you're able-bodied, it doesn't matter if you're in a wheelchair, this product can help. This product can give you that momentum that we want to see, that satisfaction. We want to see it right away when we're doing something. And this product can give you that. You have to be committed. You can't go on to it and you can't eat, you know, chimichangas and deep-fried foods and those type of things. You do have to make the life changes of the food. But the thing is just so shortly into it, you have no desire for those other foods. And it's easier to do because you're seeing the results. You're having that gratification of losing weight that you don't need the gratification of eating all that junk food. and it changes your life, and it just gives you hope on a daily basis, and that's, we all want that hope. And, I just tell everybody that I help with this product that I know that they can do it, and just to give it 30 days and see in 30 days with a commitment what will happen in that 30 days. And when they give a full commitment for 30 days, they are so hooked and they want more, and they're so excited. And, so many of the people I've sold this to, in 30 days they've already hit their goal, and they're like, you don't understand how long it's taken us to lose 20 pounds on any other diet. And then they've been keeping it off, and I get the greatest stories, and people crying and coming up to me telling me what it's done for them, and we're all in the same boat. We're tired of the up and down lifestyle of gaining weight and losing weight and of not getting there very fast and having bad results. And Slenderiix is amazing, and I just encourage everybody I know to go this direction and to try it and to give themselves the, if you're going to invest in any diet, you might as well invest in the best diet, and that's Slenderiix. And using not just the drops, but I really promote using the Nourish shakes, because it's something you can have in your house when you don't have anything else, or have in your car with you. And it keeps you from, finding those bad foods if you don't have them in the house. And I started taking the vitamins along the road, and I've been seeing, my hair get healthier, my skin get healthier. So every product I use by Ariix has changed my life. And so I just tell people, if they follow the directions and follow what it says to do, that they're going to lose weight, just like I did. So that's my story. I hope that helped a little bit. Do you have any questions or?
Well, first of all, I just want to thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Good thing that everybody was muted, because you got us on an emotional roller coaster today.
I passed a box of Kleenexes around.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be very emotional to me still at this moment, just because of the life-changing events that have gone on because of Slenderiix.
Oh, I bet. It's totally, you change your life, and you're changing lives of many, many people because of your story and your commitment to losing weight and sharing this story. So thank you for that, Lisa.
Yeah, I just want to say something here, Stefan. When Lisa says that you don't have to gain that weight back, and the freedom it gives you. I know, since you've never been on this roller coaster like Lisa and I and many others of the people that are on this call or around, have experienced that, but that freedom. Lisa, I related to you, and tears came to my eyes too, because you don't feel guilty anymore about eating, and you don't feel guilty about your relationship with your food anymore. And that's such a significant part that I don't think is ever brought to life, or anybody ever explains that Slenderiix really opens that door of true living and not having to worry about, if I have that piece of birthday cake, I'm going to go back and I'm going to wear it for another month. And so thank you for just bringing that emotional part out, because it is so true, and we overlook that so many times.
That is very true. We really do. And, in the very beginning, before I started this journey, I have some extremely healthy friends that eat extremely well and always have, and they've been really skinny, and they would talk about eating salads or eating good fish and good food. And I never wanted to give up my good food. I considered my cheeseburgers and my pizza my good food. And I was like, I don't, you guys are missing out. Well, little did I know I was the one missing out, that you have a relationship with your foods, and I was having a relationship with a bad relationship. And when I got that relationship out of the way, and I realized how awesome foods are that are, can be organic if I bought some organic, but even if they weren't, they were healthy, good foods, and I loved them, and I got this awesome relationship with them. Just like you said, it really does change our way we look at our food and our relationship with it.
Yes.
Well, basically, we need to understand what's going on. What is this product? What is it doing? And please, Lisa, stay with us here because we have a little bit more questions specifically on the business side of how you've been able to, help other people as well. But just for now, for those who are on this call, why is this product working? Well, you need to understand that some people are fat because their body doesn't metabolize sugar as efficiently as it should. Or some others are fat from poor thyroid function. Some are fat from hypothalamus imbalance. Or some, may need to optimize their hormones to begin, burning fat again. You see, in the past, all of these typical issues could not be solved with only one product. Until now, we have this product, and that's what Lisa was talking about with Slenderiix and Accelerate. You see, Slenderiix, that particular product, because we have two bottles, Slenderiix and Accelerate, Slenderiix is a blend of 10 homeopathic ingredients. You've got 5 ingredients that actually increase fat release from fat cells. You have 3 that suppress appetite, and you have 2 that elevate the metabolism and supports lean muscle mass. All right, so Slenderiix basically help suppress appetite and contribute to major self-control and discipline enhancement. And this is, by the way, key, really key. All right, so the next product is our basically the Accelerate product, and it's a blend of 8 ingredients. 2 actually increase metabolic output, 3 support digestion and liver function, and 3 enhance energy. So you can see that when you combine this, these 2 products, it creates an unstoppable fat loss formula that just helps your body to burn, up to 1 pound of fat a day. Now, the averages have been around 14 pounds in 30 days. All right, so some people lose more, some people lose less, and typically those who lose less, it's usually because they don't have that much weight to lose. Much fat to lose. So those are the averages. It's going to vary from one person to the other, but we're happy to hear absolutely amazing stories like the one that Lisa shared today. So with this being said, before we move into more of on the business side and how we're able to help a lot of people lose weight, Arlene, was there anything else you wanted to add to this?
No. I think that the compelling story that Lisa has brought to our attention and shared with us on this journey just makes, I don't know how it makes everybody else, but it makes me more determined to realize that excuses are not part of this program, that it's easy to follow, it's easy to do. And if Lisa can do it, then I certainly can do it. And that's the message that I'm getting, and I'm hoping that's resonating in other people, that excuses are just not part of this program.
No, absolutely. Lisa, now that you've experienced this product and what it does for you, you developed a passion, and I know a lot of people on this call are losing weight and they're passionate about it, and it's a natural to talk, but even without really talking, people are asking you questions. All right, they're reaching out for you. So how do you personally help others lose weight? How do you market this product? What do you do, on a daily, weekly basis? How does this work for you?
Well, I do quite a few different things. One, just my lifestyle is in its own a marketable thing. People, take a look at me and have known me and they see the difference. So right there, there's all kinds of different ways. People see me taking the drops and they say, what is that? And bingo, right there, I have somebody that I can tell them about my story. I market to all different kinds of people. I love to use visuals because, you tell somebody you've lost 100 pounds and they can't visualize what you looked like before. Even the people I know, they don't visualize me as big as I was, but when I give them the picture, 1, they remember, and 2, they also say, I never saw you that way because we kind of overlook things in people. But I hand out cards with my story on it. I hand out flyers. I have door hangers. I go around and do it in different ways. And even though this has been my story, each and every one of us have a story. And our story is big and it's important, and we should never not tell people about our own story. And even like with you, Stefan, even though you didn't have weight to lose, you have your own story in the opposite direction. But I also have learned that we have to use one another's story, because my story might not touch somebody else, but, Arlene's story will touch somebody. Yours will touch somebody in different directions. So I don't just use my story. I use all different stories throughout the program, because you never know what's going to touch somebody. And I tell them the truth, because that's what our product is about. It is 100% the product. And when you show them what's been going on, it's amazing on how they want to be part of it. I know there was more things. I'm doing shows. I'm starting shows this month, and I had a banner made up with my picture on it and with all my stuff on it, and it's really crazy looking at yourself on a banner going, that's me. Why am I up on that banner? But it's also great because people can walk by and they see that and they go, wow, that's her, and they can see the huge difference. So in a big way, you can do it that way, but everywhere I go, I tell somebody about it, or I leave a card on a table. We were at Applebee's the other night, and we had the skinniest, cutest waitress, and I had these brand new cards we had just gotten in, and I decided, I'm even going to tell her when I give her back the bill. And I said, I know you don't have any weight to lose. I said, but we all know somebody that has weight that they need to lose. It could be anybody you know. I said, I just want to share this with you so that way if you know anybody in your life that you want to be in better health, you could share it with them. And I gave it to her, and we started talking. And she got all choked up because her mom had been in bad health and was, from medications, had gained so much weight. And she's like, I have to get this for my mom. And it was a person I would have never thought of sharing it with, because weight loss affects everybody. So we can talk to even the skinny people because they know somebody in their life. So there's all kinds of ways to market it. And I just don't overlook anybody, because, it hurts people so bad inside and out on how they look and how they feel, that even though you look at somebody and think they might be skinny, they might be 20 pounds overweight, and to them, it just hurts inside. So we need to market it and tell it to everybody.
I like what you said there, Lisa, because you talked to this person, you said you might know somebody that wants to lose weight, and that can be effective with everybody. It doesn't have to be just with the skinny people, because sometimes it's hard to approach someone that needs to lose weight and say, I just lost weight, would you like to do it too? Because that's kind of touchy maybe with them. But when you approach it the way you have, that soft sell of, do you know anybody that you want to be healthy, and the way you said it with passion and a desire, that is so compelling. Because, like you said, everybody knows somebody that needs to lose weight. And when you say it with the way you said it, with that compassion, not in a sales talk, but in a compassion as, hey, let's help the world, it really makes a difference in how you approach the people. So thank you for that comment. I really appreciate that.
You are very welcome.
Do you encourage your people that get on the drops to take their before and after picture?
Oh, yes, I do. And I encourage them to take their before and after picture. And if they don't have somebody to take it for them, I'll say, let's take it right now. Even if they weren't, sometimes I do. I'll even take a picture of somebody else. Can we take a picture together before we get started? And that way, even if they haven't taken a before picture, I have one to remind them what it was. And I really encourage them. And I encourage them to do the measurements, because sometimes we might not lose as much in the weight on the scale, but we lose a lot in our inches because of the different, muscle muscle and the different things you're changing in your body. And so I have him take a picture, I have him measure, and a lot of times I've asked him to send those things to me so I can kind of encourage them as we're going. And you know, I don't just hand somebody the products and say, here, good riddance, go do it. I love to coach people. I love to find out people's results. And I send them texts, and I send them emails, or if I know them personally, I call them even if I don't know them really very personally. And it's so gratifying to me and so such a blessing to hear them losing weight. And, you know, sometimes they struggle. And I say, call me, email, text me throughout this. And I don't care if it's a struggle or a positive thing. Let me know what's going on. And when they're having a struggle, I can work with them. And they realize, wow, I'm not drinking enough water. Or, yeah, maybe I shouldn't be eating pineapple every day. Or, you know, they'll think, oh, I'm eating a good fruit or a good vegetable, when in the big picture of it, it's really not that good of a fruit or vegetable. And so I can help them find those kinks so they can start losing a little bit more weight. And so I'm there as a coach. I'm help them get started on their journey. But I also have a lot of customers I've never met. And, you know, they don't respond back to me when I send them a text or whatever. But then out of the blue, I'll get a thing and say, I lost 23 pounds on your product. Thank you so much. I hit my goal. And I've never really heard back from them other than that I've heard what they've lost. And it's just one lady, and I've never known this lady. She was a friend of Tony Hughes's, and she called me. And we now have to buy product, got her on the product, and we now have the most amazing relationship that we've never met each other, but we send each other quotes and we send each other uplifting things. And I've become friends and am walking people's journeys with them, which is such a blessing. So if you can do that extra little thing, people love to have you do it with them. They like to have that buddy system. They like to know there's accountability out there a little bit of, hey, this person's going to want to know what I'm weighing. I need to get on the scale or I need to measure. And I also let people know that don't be on that scale every day. Yes, it's your friend and it's going to help you at the end of the week, but you don't want to every day look at it and become attached to the scale. It's just giving you the results of what you're already working at, and to do it like once a week. And so I just help them with little stuff like that as we go along our journeys together.
I know, Arlene, that's... Arlene, I know that you're doing a similar thing with your people. I've been counseling with the people I've put on the drops as well, and yes, you get sometimes. I got a text message yesterday from my brother-in-law, and it showed, hey, I reached my 20 pounds goal, and you see the scale, and so he's really excited. So it's fun. It's really gratifying. And so, Arlene, do you have anything else to share about this counseling or anything else you want to add?
Yeah, the thing that I've found out that is so exciting when I'm working with people is they've reached their goal, then they say, well, do I have to continue to take these for the rest of my life? And that's the one thing that is so, I love to tell people, no. I stopped taking my drops in July when I had lost my 30 pounds, and I haven't taken any since. And I have not gained any weight, and it's almost been a year since I've lost my weight. And like I've told many people before, in that year's time, I have eaten birthday cakes. I've enjoyed my Christmas just like Lisa did, my Thanksgiving, Easter. We had the privilege of having 2 big Easter dinners, and I didn't stop. I didn't miss my carrot cake and or my strawberry shortcake. I didn't eat a lot of it, but I ate a bite or two of what I wanted. And I like Lisa, I didn't really want a lot. I was not hungry for that. It was good. It was delicious, but a couple bites, I was through. And that relationship with my food is so evident in the way I eat now. And the fact that I've not had to ever take those drops again, and I don't ever plan to do it again, just the fact that my weight is maintained at this level is so rewarding. And so as I'm counseling people and they're getting off of it, they've gained their weight, they've lost their weight, and now they're ready to just go on with life. It's exciting to be able to relate that story to them and let them assure themselves. And Lisa, I don't know how much more weight you need to lose, but I know that's going to be just an accelerator for you to know that when you get there, you're through. You don't have to take those drops again, and you don't ever have to go back on gaining that weight again.
Yeah, I'm got about another 22 pounds or so to go to hit my goal. I'm doing I'm watching as I go, because as a paraplegic, you have different issues if you get too skinny, just like if you get overweight, and a lot of it is skin issues and different things. Let me tell you, I've learned that there's hurdles as a paraplegic being skinny, just like there were as being overweight. And so I've actually had to relearn some things. But I'm looking forward to hitting my goal, obviously. I'm very excited because it's just a hand's length away. And I'm hoping to hit it by my 1 year date of being on the product. If I do, I do. And if I take a few extra weeks, that's fine with me as well, because I know it's right there. And I know that I'm not going to have to keep using the products, because I've learned to love what I'm eating and how I'm eating it. And when you're eating at those type of calorie levels, you're not going to gain the weight because your body's burning things off. With me, I don't burn off as easy because I'm not walking around, even on the general basis. But I also know that good foods are going to promote my good health, and I'm not going to go up. Everybody asks me, do you exercise at all? Well, from the chest area down, no. But my arms, I have to keep in good health. I had a scare a few years ago where I completely lost the ability in my left arm to move it. I lost the feeling in it. I lost everything. And that moment was such a scary moment for me, because when I already have 3/4 of my body gone on movement, when I lose another quarter, I was like, how am I going to do this? But that was not in my plan. It was just a hiccup in my life at the moment. And so I keep my arms in good condition. One of the reasons I had to go to a power chair is pushing a manual chair around. My carpal tunnel got so bad in my arms and in my hands that my arms were asleep 24 hours a day. Well, driving a car with your hands asleep and arms asleep is very unsafe. Curling your hair, I found out, is very unsafe, and how many times I would drop it and burn myself. And so I learned that my arms were my everything. So I do exercise them. I go 3 days a week, and I use weights, and it's not cardiovascular, but I keep my arms in motion, because something in motion is going to stay in motion, and God built our bodies to stay in motion. So even though I'm sitting all the time, my arms are still moving. And, anything I can do to promote my health and to get it better, and I know it's going to stay. I know it's not going to gain back on. It's watching everybody that has already done it and living that. I'm excited that point in time will come, that I don't have to stay on the drops. I love the drops, and I don't look at them as anything negative. They're such a part of my daily life, but I also know that I don't have to be dependent on them, because now I'm dependent on myself. I've gotten to that point where I'm strong, and I love where I'm at, and I can continue to keep doing it. So I'm almost to that goal, and I'm so excited. And you were telling the story about, eating the cakes and stuff. I have to tell you one that just had this last week. One of my favorite candies on the face of this planet is chocolate-covered orange sticks. And my husband in our bedroom has like this storage of all these candies. He's got a really big sweet tooth. And at night, before he goes to bed, he always pulls something out and has something. And he used to not offer it in the beginning because he knew I had no desire for it. And he'll say, do you want a bite? Or do you want one? And because he knows now I have that ability to say yes or no much better than I had before. And I said, yeah, I would like one. And I took this one orange stick. I wasn't planning on eating more, but I could have because he had the box sitting right in front of me. But I took the orange stick, and I took one bite, and when it went in my mouth, it was the most amazing taste. And I hadn't had one in at least 9 or 10 months. And I enjoyed it so much that I didn't even want another one because that one piece of candy gave me so much satisfaction. I was like, I don't need anything more because I love this taste. And before I would eat an entire box of the chocolate-covered orange sticks. So, you can have those emotions and those great things, and you don't have to eat the whole thing. We went to the Cheesecake Factory for my daughter's 21st birthday, and at the table we had like 5 different cheesecakes. And, I was watching my son devour it, my daughter devour it. Everybody's, trying all of them and eating them. I took a bite off of each one of them, loved each one of them, went back to my very favorite one, had one more bite of that, and I was done. And they weren't huge bites, and I was so satisfied. So we don't have to go crazy with our food. And when you start and not eat it all the time, when you have that one bite, that is enough for those few bites. So, I don't have far to go, and I'm excited to be at the end of the losing journey and to be starting the journey of keeping my body at the healthy, great state that that I'm looking forward to living in.